Yeah, but it's good to see you, like, out there, though.
Out and about.
Out and about.
Out and about.
Causing a bit of trouble.
Not me.
Not you. Yeah. The quiet ones are the worst. You do know that, don't you?
I mean, that's what they say.
No, it's an actual fact.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. But we are here. I'm here with the lovely Frank. It feels like a bit of deja vu because I was here a couple of days ago. Frank Smith from Matchroom.
Correct.
Talk to us about Matchroom, because I'm going to start it off straight away. I'm looking. Remember, I said to you when we've done a live, and I said, I like the fact that you and Queensbury are working together.
Yeah.
But I really want to see some competition. Remember when we sort of like touched on that?
Yeah.
Frank's churning out his, shows. I get it. Like the heavyweights, it brings more eyes to the sport. The more casual side of the fans are going to look at it. Do you see it as like a threat or a competition, or how does Matchroom view it? Because 3 or 4 years ago, or maybe even 2 years ago, you guys were the top of the league. It's changing, Frank.
Look, I think competition is always good. I think, I was speaking about this yesterday. We are our own biggest critics.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless of what other people are doing. We don't focus our business based on what other people are doing.
Okay.
As much as competition is great, we're driven by what we feel is the right and best thing to do. At the end of the day, Eddie is probably one of the biggest boxing fans you could meet. He wants to deliver great, but he's a fan. I look at the business side of things.
Okay.
Sometimes that's where we have different opinions.
Yeah.
And sometimes he does things, that I go, well, you're mad for that. But they're because he's a boxing fan as well. Of course, though, competition is important, like I say, but we will always be the ones sitting there. And I think we've got a great run. I think when you look at the shows, the level of shows, and as a global promoter, I think what we're doing,
There's no argument.
I think this fight on Saturday is a brilliant fight.
Yes,
Castro
it is.
Barboza interim world title, should actually probably be for the full world title. March 1st, Lewis Crocker, Paddy Donovan, brilliant fight that's going to sell out in Belfast. You got April 12th as well is Ennis against Stanionis, unification fight in the 147 division. March 22nd, we're in Sydney. It's every week. And we're pushing ourselves constantly. But yeah, look, it's great. It's great times for boxing. It's great time to be a subscriber of DAZN as well. We made that move many years ago
you
now
did.
Because we believed in it.
Trendsetters.
Yeah, and it's going in the right direction, as we knew it would. It's always going to take time. DAZN came into, I think they started in 2015, roughly. Not in boxing, but in other, across other sports, 2015, 2016. As a global platform, there's nothing else out there like it. And they're the leader now in boxing, I would say, globally, in terms of from a broadcast perspective. So it's great times, great for the subscribers. And competition's always good. And you're going to continue to see great shows. The Queensbury slate of shows that they've announced, brilliant. But of course, it was always going to be brilliant. Like, as in, you're never going to do your first show and everyone go, oh, just being honest. Do you know what I mean? Like,
what was Matchroom's first show on DAZN? I'm trying to think back now because I remember the massive announcement.
Was it Fight Camp?
Was it?
It was 2021, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was sort of
and then
semi-lockdown.
I think it was, it was Fight Camp, and then we went into, didn't we do Headingley? Was one of the first big ones, which was Warrington Lara rematch. It was Katie Taylor, it was Conor Benn, all on that show.
Yeah, now I'm going back.
So again, I think you're always going to focus a lot on the opening. Of course you are. But your big move, you're going to make a big move. But I think, look, as a DAZN subscriber, what a great time! What a great time to be involved. We're working on our schedule now, April to May, discussing that. April, May, June, discussing that with DAZN. It's exciting.
Can you give some of the fans like a bit of like pushback then? Because I'm obviously British boxing fan, and I appreciate that. I'd say Matchroom lead globally. They are. There's no argument there. Mexico, Australia. Obviously, you've been to Japan before. Everywhere, Matchroom have been. But
Canada. First time as well,
Canada.
in February.
That's a new one.
Yep.
But as British boxing fans, and you know what we like, and I'll put my hands up on one of them, Frank. We're fickle. We want to see. We do.
Short term, though, memory as well, I think, with British boxing. I think it's like.
Give us a pushback, Frank. Go on.
I think like you look at. We started obviously with Dalton Smith, a great undercard there as well. That next gen show a week later was like unbelievable fights from top to bottom, like real fights.
I love next gen though,
but
so yeah.
proper fights, you know, and that's what we got to deliver. We got to deliver entertainment. Then you come here to Manchester, the Co-op. You know, you got Jack Catterall, Arnold Barboza, number 1, number 2. What a fight! What an undercard as well. Bellotti against Gomez, Pat McCormack stepping up against Robbie Davis Jr., Zelfa Barrett against Jazza Dickens. Great card here in Manchester. Then, like I say, obviously Saudi, a card like we've never seen before next week. But then March 1st, Crocker Donovan.
Yeah, that's going to be
unbelievable
a
fight.
Yeah,
packed out in there as well. You know, so we're always driven to keep moving forward. But I think it's a great start to the year. But I think boxing is very it's so reactive. You know, they go, "Oh, they've announced that. What are you doing?"
Yes.
You know, and I'll
put my hands
by
up.
the way, I have that with Eddie. Like Eddie goes to me, "We got to do something," like because
like that.
he reacts to other things as well. So it's like I get it, but it is very much. I think we've got the best start to January to March in terms of. I think looking at our schedule,
Okay.
I think we've got the best fights. I think Catterall Barboza is one of the best fights, and I think Crocker Donovan's a brilliant fight as well.
Yeah.
You know, and then April to May they've announced the great schedule. Yeah, of course, and then we've got to do the same. You know, like but it's so reactive boxing.
It is.
You know, rather than going, everyone forgets about last week.
And look, like I said, I can put my hands up. I'm guilty. It's almost like I've said it ever since like Saudi's got involved. His Excellency's got involved in boxing. We're overfed.
Yeah.
And it's almost like now we've got these big, massive, empty stomachs that always need filling with something. And it doesn't matter what you do because you've just literally told us about some fights, and I've loved every one of those that you've mentioned that have been in the UK. But because of like new signings, it's like, oh, it's something glittery, it's something gold.
Boxing's like this.
Exactly. There you go.
That's Twitter and social media. You know, and I think
there you go.
It's
spot on.
Like, it's great in many ways.
Yeah.
And we are aware of it, and we know what we need to do. But it is like that. It's like, I think we've got the best 6 weeks of a schedule in Matchroom now, or 7 weeks of a schedule globally. And then, someone else is like. The reality is, other people are going to do really good shows. Do you know what I mean?
Are you okay with that competitive spirit? Because
but that's like I'm a bit. I've got a bit of a different mentality, right?
Okay.
Which is, I'm not so much one of those people that people think it's weird.
You're not a counter puncher in business.
No, but I'm just like, people are going to do good things.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like
okay.
I think, and this is maybe bias, I think we're the best at what we do. We're the best at putting on shows. I think we put on the best events. I think we create the best content. I think we do the best storytelling, right?
Content.
That's my view, right?
Yep.
Other people may have a different view of that, man, and mine may be biased, but I think other people are going to do good things.
Yeah.
You know, and I think consistently we will, over a period of time, show why we're number one in the sport globally. But other people are going to do good things. There's nothing wrong with that. It's like everything in life. It would be boring if it was just you.
It would be.
But my thing is we don't need other people to do things for us to go, we do it naturally.
You're driven.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Eddie's driven obviously because he sees a lot of the comments of what people say.
Yep.
But it's like, we're driven ourselves. I want to do good things. I want to do shit things. Do you think I want to turn up here at a weekend and go, oh, can't be asked to be here? No, like, we've been doing it for so long. It's like, we're our own biggest critics.
Yeah.
We're going to push ourselves every week. And I think there are going to be times where you go, that's a good show. There's nothing wrong with saying someone else has got a good show. It's not weak.
No, I get it.
I think in life sometimes that's the problem. It's like, you can't, like, they just announced Whittaker Cameron, didn't they? Sure, that's going to be a great show.
Yeah.
Well done. Like, there's going to be good fights. People are going to make good fights. You know, Boxer did that. You know, that's life. But focus on
what you're doing.
Too many people focus. Oh, this, that. You know, it's like
that's what us fans are like.
It? Yeah.
I get it, but
I'm just saying from a business perspective.
It's like the long game.
Yeah,
we're
in it. We've been doing it for 40 years as a business. You know, I've been involved in boxing for 15 years. Like, it's about consistently over and over again delivering. Because you could sit there and go, well, we've done everything now, so what's the point? Do you know what I mean?
On your laurels.
Yeah, like the biggest shows in the world and go, well, but it's like we're driven ourselves. I don't want to come here and not be like, I'm more like a casual fan. I've said that many times. Yeah, I'm not like a.
Oh, yeah, you like to see
boxing.
like that. Yeah, you did say that about.
Like, you know, because that's what people are intrigued by. That's why UFC is so big. It's so simple to understand. What do you want to do? You want to. You know, you basically want to strangle someone on the floor. No, but that's, you know, like that. Like, it's too brutal for me. But that's what people want to see. They want to see tear-ups, you know. And Yeah. So competition is great. It's not me saying that, but there is also no harm in saying that's a great show. They've done a great show, or saying that's a shit show. That's not very good.
I'm like that though. I can give credit where it's due, but in my position, I'm just media. But I think what it is, like I said, when you get the new signings, you've got to look at it. I understand that Derek Chisora started with Queensbury, but I understand that he's had so many fights with Matchroom that was kind of like his home. Then he goes to Queensbury, and it's like, okay, so the star name is there.
Yeah, but
Then it's like Josh Taylor. I was absolutely convinced Josh Taylor was coming to you. I don't know why. I was just convinced.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, Frank's got him, and it's like all of like these signings, and that's what brings our attention, because it's almost like you're opening up your social media, like you said. Oh my God, he signed him. Oh my God, they've signed him.
It's short term though, isn't it? Like that's the thing. It's so reactive to everything. Like Josh Taylor, we signed Josh Taylor. We had a deal agreed with Josh Taylor for a date. He then couldn't do it, right? So then it didn't fit the schedule, because we have a load of fighters we have to get out, right? So we would have signed Josh Taylor. He was going to box in January, but there was things that happened. He wasn't ready, right? No problem. But we would have signed Josh Taylor as an example. But it didn't then work with the schedule of other fighters that we've got.
Fair enough.
We've got to deliver upon our contracts. Derek Chisora is one of my closest mates in boxing, from boxing.
Okay.
Who I have more of a relationship now outside of, like I was with him on New Year's.
Yeah, I saw you wish him good luck as well.
Yeah, and I was with him New Year's. I spoke to him 10 minutes ago. He's like a mate to mine, like a close mate. I have said to Derek Chisora in the past, what are you doing? Like, as in, not in a bad way, but it's like, what more do you want from this sport?
All right.
As in, you have boxed everyone.
Yeah.
But then boxing's a wild sport, because look what he did on Saturday night, And I saw even Frank Warren said the same thing 2 years ago. He said to him he should retire.
Yeah, we finished.
So, I think, but you never know what's going to happen in boxing. And things can change daily. And things happen, and this fight goes here, and that happens, and this happens. But it's so reactive.
Eddie mentioned about obviously signing a certain caliber of fighter, and I get that. I like the benchmark that like you guys have set. You want a certain type of fighter because you want to have world champions. Obviously, that's where the better money is, the better pay for the fighters, the promotional companies. It's a win-win. Is there any talent out there that we're not aware of? I know you've done Pat Brown. You've got obviously Connor Tudsbury as well. You've recently signed. Is there any other talent out there that you're potentially working? And I've been British talent now. Sorry, I'm going back to my fickle. I'm British. Any talent that UK wise that you are looking to, sign and showcase? Because yes, I do agree. Your promos, fantastic. Alex Hainsey in the team, absolutely magnificent. Anything fresh for us?
Yeah, look, we're always looking at new young fighters. We always are. I mean, look at the card here. Like, you got Connor Tudsbury, as you say, his professional debut. You got William Croller as an example, another young fighter. We've got Pat Brown, he debuts, at the end of March in Altrincham, headlines his own show. You had Taylor Bevan, who looks unbelievable, box the other week. Jimmy Sains looked great, George, all these young guys.
Giorgio Visioli.
Yeah, Visioli. We've got so many young fighters that we're working with that we're excited by. Always looking at new fighters as well. So, yeah, we're always pushing to get a new stable, and grow the stable. But at the same time, make sure that we deliver for the fighters that we got.
Yeah.
Look, you can go and sign hundreds of fighters.
Saturated.
And you're sitting there going, oh my goodness, where's this person going to go? How are we going to get this person out? How's this person going to get a fight? How are we going to actively promote them as well? We can all go and sign hundreds of fighters. But if you're not going to then have we have a huge team of people, right, who work for us. But still, there's a limit to how much you can get done in a day. And there's a limit to how much work you can actually deliver for a fighter. And I think it's getting the right balance between signing hundreds of names, but not actually delivering for them.
Yeah.
And I think we're in a good place with the talent we got. There's also a real changing of the guard of the older fighters that have been around in the sport for a long time.
Yes.
Who are recognisable names.
Yes.
And then going, actually, let's focus on
the new, the fresh blood.
Yeah. So it's like,
all right,
we could.
I'll take that.
Part of me would rather invest in the younger folk, because ultimately that's the long term. Yeah, rather than someone who's going to have another 2-3 fights.
I get it.
Who may not have the longevity in the sport. And that's what we got to think about. We're here for a long time, not just for.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, exactly. So, and also, like I say again, anything this business changes every week.
Oh, it does.
So. I'm happy where we are. We're in a good place, but always looking for new fighters, of course.
Yeah. Zalfa Barrett, a fighter that, you know, I've liked for a long time. He's been out for a bit. His activity then, are we looking to like push him on? Because I would have liked to have seen him potentially fight either, well, Lee Wood or Kakachi would have been good fights for him, but obviously they're fighting each other now, etc., etc. So,
I mean, we offered Lee Wood the Zelfa Barrett fight.
did
We
you?
did offer him the Zelfa Barrett fight, but you know, he's obviously going to make a decision that works for him. You know,
Okay.
Lee obviously had, I think, by the time his fight comes around, I think 19 months out the ring.
Yep.
You know, but it wasn't because we didn't offer him fights. So yeah, Zelfa, we did offer that fight.
You turned it
Zelf-
down?
No, I mean Zelfa was up for it, but Lee never. I think he was looking at other opportunities. Again, I'm not quite like,
Okay.
but Zelfa was supposed to fight at Christmas. It got delayed. He was going to have a
Yes.
comeback fight, but he's back out here against Jazza Dickens, and the key is to try and keep him active. You know, it's a good test, Jazza Dickens. You know, because he's experienced. He's a very experienced fighter.
Please.
You know, one of the
aggressive.
fights we were looking at was maybe Ray Ford. They're both highly ranked with the IBF. Could be an opportunity there as well. You know, Ray Ford, obviously someone we promote,
Yeah.
but you know, he's got to come through here on Saturday night.
Got to come through it. One of the things as well, finally, I'll touch on, because you know me, Frank, I just don't stop talking. But 5v5, any potential? Please, I don't want to hear about heavyweights because I'll lock myself in a cupboard because I don't know who you'd put in for that. But 5v5,
Love to get it up and running again soon. Hopefully we can. You know, it was a right drubbing last time. I think we lost 10-0 on points. Try and wipe that out of my memory. It'd be great, wouldn't it?
Like a bad
these are the
ex,
kind
that
of
is,
things,
isn't it?
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but these are the kind of things, and these are the concepts. Realistically, people buy into. You know, even like with Matchroom and Queensbury both on DAZN now, I think there's going to be more and more opportunities. You
yeah.
know, and more fights
like
can
it.
be made. You know, so that's the focus for us, is to make fights that people want to see, and if that means the added angle of promoters, like you got it here with Oscar De La Hoya. You know, although he's not here, they've got a show.
he's here, but he's not
Samuel?
here.
He's not here, but that's another added bit of spice, isn't it? Eddie and Oscar.
If you were to choose the weights for the 5v5, let's just not talk about heavyweight. If you were to choose the weights, what would you choose? What would be good weights for Matchroom when you talk about caliber and getting that win, getting those points back on the scoreboard?
Light heavyweight, Dimitri Bivol, #1 in the world. You got to say.
We'll soon find out, won't
I
we?
mean, he's going to go out there and do it.
Oh, we'll soon find out.
Cruiserweight Joe Apatow.
Okay.
I'm trying to think like who they've got,
no, I
at
like
the
it.
same time.
I like
who
it.
they've got that makes.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
I'm trying not to be unfair here.
Well,
you know.
it'd be unfair if it was like 3 heavyweights.
Yeah. Welterweight.
Okay.
Jaron Ennis when he
Jaron
comes
Boots,
through against
okay.
Danny Onis. What other weights? Let's have a think. Got to say, lightweight Andy Cruz,
Okay, yep.
and 140 as well, Jack Catcher.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, you like
do
that?
like that.
I mean, I don't know who,
I mean, look-
who are they going to put forward for those opponents.
Fantasy
See,
fights.
we could win 10-0.
Imagine.
Yeah, and then it would be 10-10,
Can you imagine if that happened?
and then we go to sudden death, and it would
Sudden
be
death.
and it would be Eddie and Frank.
Or Frank and Frank.
No, me and Frank get on too well now.
Really? I keep on getting someone in my
And
comments
also,
asking about tea.
I think
Have you
Frank.
made the tea
I
yet?
also think Frank's got a punch. To be fair, I'm not tough at all.
He shoots straight from the hip, I'll tell you
Yeah,
that
yeah.
much.
But I haven't made the tea yet.
Do you think you need to?
I mean, I will make the tea, but the maid's outfit, I think it didn't. I tried it on. It wasn't a good look, to be fair.
I'm sure I've got some tights that you could
No,
wear.
I haven't got the thighs for it.
Behave. Listen, a pleasure. So good to see you. And well, I'll be there Saturday anyway, so no doubt we'll catch up then.
Thank you for having me.
Listen, pleasure's all mine.
People say I'm toxic, and honestly, I don't care.